Christian talk show. You're in the hub.
By the way, did y'all see the Grammys? The Grammys over the weekend? Grammys a couple weeks ago. Okay.
I saw it on Twitter. Does that count?
That does count.
Okay.
Nowadays, if you see it on something else, like we just said, you will know.
Okay.
Nobody will really understand why you woke what you were
I
watching.
think the Grammys
But-
were on a network TV station.
Is that the award show where that woman came in that egg?
Yeah, it's one came in there. Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Okay, here we go. She goes.
Is she a woman? I'm not sure.
So Lady Gaga comes on, does her whole bit, does her new song, and she comes on in an egg. Can you get any more? I thought Madonna was as bizarre as it got. This woman has ramped it to a new level. What is she saying about modern day society?
I don't know, but what does it say that the Westboro Baptist Church likes to use her songs to rewrite the lyrics? I don't know what's worse, really.
They're starting a trend.
It's amazing.
It's really hard for the auto-tune the news folks to auto-tune this one when she's never sung a note in her life that wasn't auto-tune. Steve, I'll tell you this though, they brought Mick Jagger back from the crypt. And I swear they gave him 10 minutes to sing, which was 10 minutes too long. This guy's been a walking dead man for 40 years. Is it the drugs, Sarah? I mean,
yeah.
To this point.
Yeah, I think he's done one too many.
He's pretty
Just
good.
one.
1,000 too many, maybe.
He's done one.
Yeah.
1,000 times
many.
too many.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where was the band? I mean, a few of them are still alive. One or two of them are still.
I think they're all still alive. Aren't
Yeah.
they?
Okay, but none of them were up there with him. He was solo
dead.
acting.
It's been a little split there.
Yeah, Eminem is an embarrassment, by the way. I'm just going to go out and say that for I like his lyrics. He's edgy, but I mean, the guy can't go on stage without. It seems like he is painfully aware of how short he is, and he is desperately trying to be taken seriously. He's like, "I'm from Detroit. I'm from Detroit." I mean, he's seriously over the top. That ad he did on the Super Bowl.
yeah.
Well, that ad though was
Yeah.
great because I didn't know that we had annexed Detroit out of the country, but at the end it said imported from Detroit.
Yeah.
I was like, well,
This is part of
that
Canada
helps
now.
our economy, right?
Well, hell, if we had known that, we should have done it a long time
That
ago.
is addition by subtraction. If we just get rid of Detroit, that should pick up everything.
You know what? That they might have been implying something there. I mean, we should give them to Canada, honestly.
Didn't they take Detroit in the War of 1812? Let's just let them have it.
My history's a little foggy.
You can merge it with Windsor, 'cause
Yeah.
that's pretty bad up
Yeah.
there. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. I mean, we can give them a lot of things
We
because
give them
honestly,
the lakes. Jokes on them. Only you can only use it 1 month out of the year.
let's just dissolve the borders altogether. Why don't we? I mean, we're supposed to be multicultural, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and we're failing miserably. at
Open
that.
border.
Open border, yes.
Yeah.
Open
have-
borders, open hearts.
Oh,
Open
wait, don't
minds.
we already
border.
have
That's
that?
it.
We do have that.
Sorry,
No
my
border
bad.
at all.
Yeah, right. No, it's just porous, Sarah. It's not open. It's just porous. All right. By the way, everybody other than us has now said that multiculturalism is dead. Every other Western nation that we've been, working so hard to become, have now said, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't like it. Didn't work for us.
Yeah.
French President Nicolas Sarkozy last week was on TV on TFI channel show, and he said, we have been too concerned about the identity of the person who was arriving here in France and not enough about the identity of the country that was receiving him. He said the French national community cannot accept a change in its lifestyle. Equality between men and women, freedoms for little girls to go to school. I didn't know it had gotten that bad, but maybe so. 4-hour lunches.
When they took away his brie, that was the last straw.
That was it. After that, he became a totalitarian dictator.
I've had enough of this multiculturalism.
No, it'd
Give
be
me my
bad
Chardonnay.
It'd be bad if they took away his wine.
Yes,
Then we'd
that's-
have problems. The
Take
Burgundy, once that's gone.
It's over. It's
Yeah.
M's fighting words. We'll have another revolution.
Take away his wine and he becomes Marshal Pétain in Vichy, France.
Wow, he had great taste.
Well, it was funny. In one of those articles, they were one of the other far-right leaders in
Sure.
France, which would probably be like a moderate liberal in this country, was complaining about Muslims, praying in the street when their mosques are full and comparing it to, the Nazi occupation. So, I think for the first time ever, they've got it and we don't.
Yeah.
Multiculturalism has failed over there. and it's failing here, and it's gonna fail here.
Well, I mean, he's started. They're falling like dominoes in Western Europe these days. I mean, Germany, Angela Merkel said that it's failed. Multiculturalism has failed there. I don't know how she can say that. They have more beers. They are so
No, they're
diverse.
all German beers.
Don't they import a lot of beers?
Budweiser, does that count?
Okay, forget it. They're not, they're,
that doesn't
It's originally
count.
Czechoslovakia.
Multiculturalism
so
has
it's
failed there,
it's just
too.
a slight drive.
Britain's prime minister said it just last week. It's failed in Britain. Of course, it hasn't really failed there because they imported so many Muslims that they don't know what to do with it.
And that there is the cattle prod in this situation is the rioting and Islamic extremists that they all have in their country, coupled with the fact that just across the way in northern Africa from France, they're dropping like flies in government over there. So there's little Egypts happening all over. It's not just Egypt, and it's starting to scare the bejesus out of France and Germany and eventually England.
Well, and he's calling for a more active, muscular, he being Britain's Cameron, more active, muscular liberalism, where equal rights, as he put it, the rule of law, freedom of speech, and democracy are actively promoted to create a stronger national identity. In other words, we haven't been promoting this stuff, and so those who show up here on our pleated shores do not realize what they should be, don't realize what they have on their hands and what the national identity is, so they fill a vacuum with anything and everything. And he's saying the way to ensure, I guess, that everybody lives at peace and they have the freedom to worship or live their life however they so choose, is to promote a national identity. Sarah, agree, disagree?
Oh,
Am I reading it
definitely
wrong?
agree. I mean, you look at the United States here, and we've got a very diverse population, which is welcome in a lot of areas. But at the same time, we need to remember that we are Americans, that we speak English.
What is that?
English?
American.
American? It's
such homogenous.
It's anybody who comes here
Barge
legally,
name.
actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, God, you're a hater. Jared, clean up Sarah's act.
Well, it's a hard one to follow. I don't have a big enough broom, but I think there is something. There's definitely something to this, and to say, well, let people come in. Let's let somebody come into your house and just tear it up, and you go, well, maybe we should slow down there a little bit.
Yeah.
People are coming in, and it's fine to bring their culture in, and we certainly have to find the line where. It's somewhere around the protection of individual rights. But there has to be some respect and some deference given to those that were here first and the culture that was here, and that being the reason why people are being attracted here. If they're coming in because of some other reason, then we're doing something wrong, and we need to look at changing that.
Well, what do we have here that what do we have more of here than they have in France and Germany, other than
Capitalism.
Okay, that
Primarily,
well, arguably we have more French and more
Showers.
Germans. But one thing we have is more university professors with a more salient understanding of multiculturalism. Hamburgers, yes, which they have on college campuses these days, because we are multicultural, and they came from Hamburg, I think. But I mean, is the failure of it is the failure of multiculturalism really that multiculturalism has failed, or that just we haven't tried hard enough, and that we've got I guess because it can't fail, can it? Because it's the ideal, and we can't give up on the ideal so easily. I mean, after having indoctrinated our children for well over 100 years in academia in this country, we can't just throw in the towel so easily. We've got, the problem's not socialism. We just need a better socialist. Steve,
I agree with you.
Can't disagree.
Full-heartedly.
You really can't.
I agree with
with
you.
all the heart that you can have as a lawyer and a radical socialist.
Next thing you know, you're gonna take away my wages to give them to somebody else.
That's all right.
Doing nothing.
You know what?
Hopefully that's
They can be more culturally sensitive
It's
to
patriotic
themselves
to do
way.
that.
Oh,
Patriotic.
Yes, it is.
Patriotic.
It
It's
is.
my
yes.
duty.
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
It is.
if I'm a minority culture and I don't have the resources to propagate my minority cultural feelings, then it is, as a multiculturalist, it is my duty as a citizen to give away all that I have or all that I reasonably can so that culture can thrive within my culture.
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely. You should
Yeah.
give up everything that you have
I
so that
should.
somebody else doesn't have to give up anything that they do. That's the best way. And just come on in, do whatever you want, and we'll just let you stamp on us. That's a great idea.
Drain the turnip, baby. Drain the turnip.
Can you run for office, please?
I mean, but is it really that it's failed, or is it that boomers who just didn't understand the way the open society and the global community would work just have, they really just needed to seed it over to the next generation, to the postmodern culture that we embody, to come in and do it right, because we understand as enlightened individuals what it will take to create heaven on earth. Because after all, we are postmoderns. The problem is values keep getting in the way, cultural identities. If we could just get rid of the values,
Sticky values.
yes. If we could just we could find that utopia. If we just get rid of that.
Can we take to the interwebs?
Can we what?
Take to the interwebs.
Take to the interwebs.
Yes. Only for now.
It sounds like a personal problem. But first,
Well, I think over in Germany and France and England, the leaders are finally getting a little scared because they're seeing their culture that they're very proud of, and they have a lot to be proud of over there, I think. Well, maybe not.
France with all their military victories.
Yeah.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
and
That's
And the funny thing is, Angela Merkel was the first one to kind of sound the trumpet on this issue, and everyone was like, "Oh, whoa, a German chancellor is attacking multiculturalism. Where have we seen this before?" But she makes a good point that Western civilization has given us a lot of good things, and now the leaders over there are seeing that being somewhat eroded.
Yeah.
And we don't see it as much in this country because we're a much larger country that has a base of multiculturalism where people have come over and assimilated into our culture within the confines of what our country was founded on. Irish Americans, Italian Americans, they still spoke their native tongue, ate their native food, but they interacted with our culture in a way that was acceptable to the foundations of our nation.
Well, you sound like a nativist to me, but that's the whole thing here. And,
You got me.
okay,
You got me.
Truthfully, whenever you bring these things up, you're called a nativist. You're called a hate monger and anything and everything else because it's
Jingoist.
more enlightened. Yeah, jingoist. It's more enlightened to be just open, just so open-minded that your brains leak out. And I'm going to read from a book. Because in the olden days we believed in that sort of thing, and it's not on a Kindle.
Yeah, what's a book?
This is called. It's actually got pages to it. Crap. Okay, the World Economic Forum recently described the problem we face in the world this way. This came out in a 2010 concept paper that they released, which is about all they do there. The world is facing a paradox. It has become increasingly interdependent, but governments and international organizations are becoming less capable of addressing global issues as large parts of national populations are not yet ready to accept the consequences of policies which must be pursued in the global public interest, Jared.
Yeah. There's another book that I like that was written by this guy, Adam Smith, that he talked about the invisible hand.
Slap you in the face.
But I don't think that any of those people have read that book. But it's amazing because they're talking about how governments can't solve the problems that they're facing in the world today. So we need more government. That's the left line all the way.
Yeah.
And it's more of the same. So the government's too big and too bloated to do things. So we need to make the government more efficient by making it more bigger and more better, and maybe it'll take care of it.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but at the end of the day, human nature exists. I hate to break it to you. And we do have natural human tendencies. And the problem is not what you do with the power, it's who has the power. Because eventually, given some dynamics about what we know human nature to be, it doesn't really matter who holds it. It's the question is who holds it and how much do they hold. And if you have all the power consolidated in one group of hands, it doesn't really matter whose hands those are. Eventually, you're going to get into trouble, and that's the issue that we face. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm out.